honest to God, I was just like, the top of my head came off in a good way, that it was like there's such an awakening. I didn't realize I was in such a sleep or in a for so long. And it was just, it was so joyous. And there were some things I was thinking about in regards to family and whatnot, but it really shifted my thinking in what I was perceiving them to be thinking. You know what I mean? It sounds kind of, I don't mean it sounds crazy, and it doesn't. But there was such, like I just say, it's just like the top of my head came off, and it was just like, oh my gosh, I looked up and I could see so clearly. It was just amazing. I'm going to explore that even deeper, but my God, I'm so glad for this daily awakenings. I'm so glad for this safe environment too. Just thank you so much, Sean.
Well, Linda, I appreciate it. Thank you. And good morning, everybody. Today is January 3rd, 2019. Linda, what you shared there is kind of what our topic is this morning, and it's about recognition. Recognizing that we have this greatness, recognizing we have this ability, recognizing that there's something inside of us. But we're going to do something here in a little bit. I think that'll be kind of cool. I think it is. At least that's what it hit me last night in meditation, and then it kind of hit me again this morning. So again, good morning, everybody. Welcome. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Share. Okay. And share. Can you all see that now? The slide recognition, just nod if you can see it. Okay, good. So, recognition, power from the inside. That's a little too big. There we go. And one of the things that, and I forget what I was watching, but it was so important about how recognition is. And we're gonna do a little exercise. I'm trying to remember where the camera is. We're gonna do a little exercise here in a little bit. I think that's going to be powerful. I know I'm promoting it maybe too much. We'll see. What are the ideas that make you love people? And do you think you love too much? This was a concept I had with a couple of coaching calls yesterday. Somebody said, I never feel like I get any in return. Recognition is having the cognition, the awareness that we get to recognize people. And the reason that sometimes we feel if we love too much, it's because we're not loving ourselves. We're not doing enough to fill up our own cups, to fill up our own houses. So this is a little, if you've ever seen these little jars that, you know, make the essential oils. Well, right now, I could be sitting here complaining that, God, that thing's not working. Well, why is it not working? Because it's empty. It fell over on my desk here the other day. But for the example, it's not working. There's nothing in it. So I can have all of this stuff. I can have all of this. I can be dressed nice. I can have a nice smile on, and I can say thank you and hello. But if we're not loving ourselves, there's not enough there to give away. But yet you'll find a way to give away. And it's just like when they talk about your body is starving, literally, if you were your body was starving, when Mason says, I'm starving, I'd say, well, your muscles would be eating, you'd have a distended belly, you'd be, almost unable to walk. Well, I'm not that. Well, literally starving, that's what it means. Your body is starting to scavenge itself. So this thing about recognition, your body is starting to scavenge itself and its own personal wealth and its own personal belonging, and it's using that so that you can give it away to other people, and that's probably not a good thing. It's time to take your morning walk and let your head pop off, to enjoy yourself and recognize that you gave that to yourself. So, computer froze, hang on. There we go. So how much time do you spend recognizing everyone? Everyone? How about A-V-E-R-Y? I think I can fix that right away. There we go. How much, you knew I typed it, right? How much do you time spend recognizing everyone? And I would encourage you in this because anybody ever see the movie Bruce Almighty? I know it's a comedy, but if you saw Bruce Almighty and the bum, the quote bum that was walking, that was kept showing up in the movie with a sign whenever he'd have a bad day or whatever, and the guy'd have a different sign all the time. Well, if you don't recognize them, you'll never see them. And there's some messages that everybody has to share with us. So who deserves recognition? That'd be an interesting conversation to have, right? Who deserves recognition? Who deserves your energy, your awareness? Who deserves your being in the moment? And who doesn't deserve recognition? And I don't know how to answer those. I know how I answer them for me, but I sure as heck can't answer them for you. So, but this thing about recognition, you know, we talk about it, it's a huge thing in network marketing, where, you know, people do things, people will do more for a little button than they will for a check. And that's proven. My Mason does more things for little tiny trinkets than he will for, you know, an allowance or a bet or money. But the question is that spend time recognizing everyone. I do a lot of traveling, and I get to meet a lot of people for the very first time. And one of the first things I say to them is I say, listen, if nobody has said thank you to today, please accept this thank you. Has anybody told you how amazing you are today? And most people are like, no. And so it's real easy in today's society to change the world, your world, the world that you are operating in with everybody around you, just by saying a simple thank you, by pausing for a second and breaking the distraction of awareness and bringing them into a conversation directly with you. Requirements. Find a way to recognize everyone. And I remember years ago in MLM University, Hilton Johnson, in his trainings, said, you know, find a way to pay a compliment to somebody, whether it be their shoes or their hat or a smile they have. In my first bout of prospecting and having conversations with people, you know, and you're doing your almost cold market, right? Your warm market, but you're going out talking to strangers. I'd walk up to people and say, hey, listen, do they pay you extra for that kind of smile and the energy you bring, or did you just give that to them? And they'd be like, what? I said, yeah, are they paying you extra for that? You're getting more because of your great attitude, aren't you? No. Oh, I partnered with a company that pays people for their smiles. Now, I know it sounds cheesy, but it was a way for me to have a conversation with anybody. I'd find somebody and I would just, you know, if I saw that they treated somebody real neat and nice, I would go thank them for that. There's a way that we can recognize everybody. And here's what happens, is that recognition is like an echo. And if we recognize somebody and they say thank you or they feel better, it changes the frequency in the area around you. You know, there's people who have sent me messages after they've gotten home off of work because we've exchanged cards, and they just said, I got to tell you, this was one of the most fun days I've ever had coming home to my family. I wasn't stressed, I wasn't this, I wasn't that. And I'm like, geez, all I did was say hello and thank you. Recognition is so powerful. It's kind of the secret weapon for success. Now we do it, but if we do it with a state of intention behind it, right? If we want to have more of what we want, right? Zig Ziglar, help enough other people get what they want and you'll get what? What you want. People just want to be recognized. It's a challenge to the status quo in today's society where everybody's wearing headphones or everybody's in their Me Too world or right now world or I need this and you don't know the pain I'm going through, whatever it is. The fact that we can just stop and say thank you can change people's lives. Here's the big issue. when I deal with CEOs and CMOs and people who are just starting network marketing, especially if it's their first time ever in network marketing, I'll get brought in to help them with their story. But first thing I ask the management team is, are you guys prepared to be loved? I'm like, what are you talking about? We're in a business. No, you don't understand. This business of community, this business of people together, are you ready to be loved more than you've ever felt before? And for any of you that have ever been on stage, you know what I'm talking about, right? Is this amount of love that comes back from an audience, it's just overwhelming sometimes. So be prepared. Sometimes we don't recognize people because subconsciously, at some deep level, we don't think we should be loved. We don't think we should be thanked back. We don't think we should be fill in the blank. So be prepared for that. What would that feel like? A lot of times, and again, I go to a particular mindset, and I'm making a very stereotypical conversation here, but I believe it to be true because based on my experience and my studies and research. Ladies, if you ever do anything for yourself, you were always called, any of us were called selfish, but more particularly you were, because again, the society's roles, and women were supposed to be, down here. And again, that may be very male chauvinistic of me, but I know all of the women that I've coached over the years, there's always been this level of sacrifice that they've never filled their cup back up. And it's if something is done well for them or somebody does something nice for them, they immediately go, oh my gosh, and you got to find a way to give back 10 times more. It's okay to frickin' receive. Just take some of that joy in, take some of that love in, because you need it. I don't know any of us that are sitting around with somebody fanning us, feeding us grapes, and we get bonbons every 2 hours just because we snap our fingers. Life can give us that. I don't know any of us that would feel comfortable sitting there, that being our life. Maybe for a week, I could probably sit there and do that. And then what belief do you have towards recognition? That'd be my question for you this morning. When you think of recognizing somebody, sometimes when I've done some deep dives and conversations with students, is that when it really got down to it, there was a part of them, this is the tough part, there was a part of them that said, well, nobody's recognizing me. Why should I recognize them? Now that doesn't happen on the surface, but not until you dive down a little deeper, does sometimes that little venomous thought sit in the back of their mind. Well, nobody recognized me, and I'm tired of doing this and not getting any recognition back. Now we can say that at a conscious level going, well, yeah, I'd never say that. I know I've said it. So just be aware of these things. What's your list of 10 ways you can recognize more? Right? I've had somebody who would, part of their trademark was to carry candy. Now, in today's society, I understand you start giving out candy, people will look at you funny. I get on an airplane on a regular basis, and I'll usually take a little couple of bags of chocolate. Now, for a security purpose, I'll usually buy them at the airport where it's, twice as much, but I'll leave the receipt in there. But I'll carry this little bag of chocolate on, and I'll spend anywhere from $8 to $15, depending upon the airport. And I'll hand the chocolates to the flight attendants. I'll say, listen, here's the rules of flying. I understand this. Chocolates for the attendants and jerky for the flight deck, if you want to do that. But please know this, please use it however you want. But I just wanted to say thank you for my 20 years of flying, to let you know I appreciate you. And guess what happens when I give $10 worth of chocolate to the flight attendants? Anything I want. Bottles of champagne are given to me, drinks all the time. They always come by, they tap my shoulder, and people are going, so are you a celebrity? Do you work with the airline? I'm like, mm-mm. It freaks people out because flight attendants aren't supposed to kind of have a relationship or a friendship with people in the seats. They're nice. So all I'm saying is what are some ways you can add to your life to add some more ways you can recognize? Is there a little prayer that you like, that you get business cards? You can get 1,000 business cards printed up for like $50, and you can hand out a business card and sign it on the back and say thank you or something. But what's some way that you can start to leave your mark and on your world that you travel through, just to say thank you? That'd be something you might want to think about. And when we start to look, again, here's the 4 things. When we start to look at doing something new, we're going to go through the 4 stages. Well, yeah, but what if they don't like my recognition? What if they don't think it's okay? What if? And then the part again said, I should have been doing this all along. Why did I stop doing this? How many of us, show of hands for those of you on camera, how many of us have ever done something and said, I wonder why I stopped doing that? That worked so well for me. So here's that thing. That's the sad part of this. I used to do that. Okay, well, when you used to do that, how'd you feel? I felt great. Then why'd you stop? This is when we start to begin to review this addiction to approval. We really started to find a way to hinder our own success. And then you get excited because you get to do it. Recognition. I love recognition. Oh my gosh. That's just something that I don't know, maybe because, and again, that runs through my head. Maybe I recognize people so they don't say, oh, what college did you go to? Well, what college did I go to? SMU University, Sean Murphy University, not the one downtown here in Dallas. Oh, really? What'd you study? I didn't study. So I avoid that whole college conversation, right? 4 years or 6 years of my life that I didn't do that. I was doing something else. Oh, well, how'd you do in high school? 0.9 grade point average. Okay, that's probably not something I want to really share, but it's now become part of my story. So I say all of that to say this. What do you have to change today to remove some worry from your life? Remove the worry that recognition is not going to serve you. That's one of the few things that can always serve you. And then write down some of the new beliefs about recognition that will help you. So that's that kind of little part. Here's something new that I want to do this morning. Any questions, comments? What's popped up from you from that conversation that we just shared? Anything pop up for you?
I need some ideas.
Okay, so some ideas on recognition.
Yeah, getting started, there's not a lot of cash, so you can't spend a ton of money or anything like that. You can spend some. But, my big thing is I always try to thank people or let them know that they're appreciated. I just want to let you know that I appreciate what you're doing, those kind of things. But what are some different ideas that I could actually, because I do live in a small town, so I could easily, as you would say, make my mark by doing something like that. What are some ideas that maybe I could do?
So do you have any business cards?
Yes.
Okay. So do you, I think you have some essential oils that maybe probably have a wonderful aroma to them.
A lot of ours is not necessarily for the smell benefit. They're more for the medicinal part.
Totally get it. Totally get it. See, this is, so the reason I say that is there's something that, that you have that if, I don't know what kind of business cards you have, but if you put a couple of drops on it, you could hand it to somebody and that's something they could smell it's not for the perfume.
Right.
But nope, right. When we look at old time movies and when guys got their letters from their girls, what's the first thing they did?
We smell it.
Smell them.
So I'm just saying, I'm looking at what you may already have and what you could give away. Now, maybe you there's a little piece of cloth that you cut up and you put a couple of drops in it. And again, I'm going to let some other people throw out some ideas, but the key is don't ask, I don't have ideas, say, well, I'm going to do this and let it percolate and see what it does. Who else has some ideas for Danya in a small town that would throw out some, how to create some recognition and some
some buzz.
Yeah.
Um, I would say, hi everyone. Um, I used to, right now I'm working at a primary school, and in order for me to see everyone, I need to walk like a big distance, like each classroom. And before I used to work at a building where you had offices, and I did my duty to, at least that's something that I always do, is that I would come into work maybe 5 minutes before, and I take my time and go to each classroom or each one of the offices. And with a big smile on my face, I would say, "Hi, good morning. Hope you have a wonderful day." And I used to do it with each and every person at my job. And then I went to my desk. And just because of that, when you smile and when you're doing it open-hearted, it is contagious. So I discovered that many of those that were very serious, that they were very like in their own world, they used to smile. They find themselves smiling. And when I used to come to work, maybe I didn't notice that I was worried or something. They were like, "Lovey, you're not smiling. What's happening?" And I was like, "Oh, that's something that had made a difference in the environment." I wasn't their boss. I wasn't their supervisor. I was just one of them. But that was part of beginning my day with a very positive vibe. It was also for me, but I shared that with them, and I recognized that in them that they also, even though they were coming with worries or whatsoever, they were coming from their homes, they could have a wonderful day. And I was uh, putting part of something that maybe it was insignificant, but it made them feel better. It made them feel important because I took time to go for it with each one of them and give them a smile and wish them a wonderful day. So that's something that I practice doing, and I think I consider that in the last quarter at the school I didn't do it, and I'm gonna put it in practice again. So I don't know, that's something I was doing, and it really was beneficial.
Danya, another thing you can do is, these are little sticky notes, right? I'm kidding. I was talking with somebody. Well, it was actually Kayla. We were in Panama. And I said, if we do these welcome calls, these thank you calls, these conversations, even the smallest thing makes a big difference. And one of the things, the first thing she did was pull up her phone and show me the weed, right? The little white flower that her child gave her. So I make up these little things and I carry them around. I go, "Hey, listen, I think you need a hug." And I'll just stick it on the bank teller. I'll stick it on their window, or I'll hand it to somebody. And I promise you, I've done this around the world. It's a sticky note, but it came from somebody, right? It came from me, and people will show up a year later with that sticky note inside of their day planner. So it doesn't have to be, we don't have to be in business when we're recognizing, but if it's our business to recognize, we can change the world. So again, well, that's kind of cheesy. Yeah, you're right. It is kind of cheesy, but cheesy is what we need. We need more cheesy. We need to get shirts made up like that. So here's what I want to do next. I want us to do some recognition on this call, and we're going to just pick somebody randomly. And well, I don't know if it's going to be randomly, but so we're going to pick somebody. But what I would like us to do is, I would like us all to do, we've got a whole bunch of people on here that know a lot of people. But I'd like us to just say one thing that you've loved about being on this call with them, or something you know special about them. So if you're all okay with receiving some recognition, nod your head a little bit. Okay, so it's in my heart right now. So first one is that I want to start off thanking Leslie. And we're all going to come up and spend 20 seconds, 10 seconds, something nice about them, so everybody can share with it. Leslie, one of the things I love about you is your just this unwavering commitment to being your best. You made a decision to jump onto these calls, and I know it was that when we were first talking about it, you were like, ah, but now it's something that's become a part of you. So thank you for that. I love you so much for that, and I appreciate you. So who else would like to jump in and say something nice about our girl, Leslie?
What I notice about you, Leslie, and I don't know you that well yet, but one thing that always impresses me about you is on Facebook, how you really lift others and edify them. I mean, you never hesitate to share love and positivity with everyone on Facebook, and that always impresses me about you. That drew me to you immediately.
I agree with Emily with that too, because you are very encouraging and very uplifting, and you're very determined. I can see that with yourself too, Leslie, that you're very determined. You want to make a change. You want to do more, be more, love more. I know I can see that in you. I just recognize that in you so much, and thank you for that.
All well deserved, Leslie.
Hi, it's Karen here. You hear me?
Yes, Karen.
Yeah, I want to say to Leslie, when I reached out to her yesterday, her first thing was, wow. I'm going, oh, that kind of flew me off. I'm going, such a positive person and willing to help and willing to listen to me. So we're going to, she messaged me this morning. I'm going, we're going to, talk about 4 o'clock this afternoon. So I'm looking forward to that. That's yeah, you're such a, I noticed your post and that too, really loving comes through and, connection there. So that's what I wanted to give you.
Thank you, Karen.
No problem.
So how about another one? So I want to, and again, if you've got something that pops back up and you want to say it, here's what I would encourage you. Part of recognition is in the giving of it, is the good you feel after you gave it, right? We're all givers, but it's pretty cool to get some back as well. But in the giving, it's pretty neat. Danya, I just got to tell you, I know you always have to jump off and run off to work and do this. Your dedication and desire to want to make a difference, and you've been emotional on these calls a couple of times. I just want to say you are super special, and the small town that you're in is only a physical place. You're on a global conference call right now, and you impact and you inspire people. So we're always better when you show up. So thank you for showing up on these calls.
Amen to that, Danya. You are a rock star, girl. You are, and you ain't seen nothing yet. I am telling you, and you have a beautiful smile. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep being you. Keep being you.
Yeah.
You're awesome.
What's always struck me about you, Donya, is your courage. You have incredible courage. You just open yourself up and just pour into all of us because it's so relatable. Your courage just amazes me.
Hey, Donya, I'm jumping in here. Just the things that you have shared over the last few days we've been on here, and your heart comes right through your, like you've heard others say, your desire, your hunger to learn how to do something, and you're not afraid to ask. And I love that, because even so many of us on here, we go to ask, and then like Sean says, that ego jumps in, right? But you don't, you just get right out there. And even yesterday when I just sent you that message, and your comeback to me was, I'm here for anything you need. And I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate that.
I can relate to what you just mentioned, because I was thinking of Donya, and I really don't know any of you much, but I have noticed in you that you have an attitude of always learning. You're always a student, and that's something that I need to take in account, because sometimes we feel, as you mentioned before, that you know that, and you say, oh, should I ask that? Maybe that's too silly, that's too naive or whatsoever. And you're teaching us that that's the attitude for us to succeed, to be always a student, even though we know more of some topic, but we should be always with that, always a student. And I want to take the opportunity also, not only for Donia, but for each one of us that are on the call, that something that I've been learning in the few days that I've been on the calls is that everyone, whenever I see the video of each one of you, generally I will be off video because I'm sitting in my bed, or because in the sense of getting up early, that's not, if I'm not at my job, at my formal job, I don't get up early. And this call allows me to break that bad habit of not getting up early to get things done. And not only that, the call allows me to be among amazing souls that I know that they're equal, better, or similar to what my soul is about. So I don't often have the opportunity in my town to be among amazing souls. And I want to recognize this space that we have to share. And I want to thank Sean for allowing us to be here also. Thank you.
Thank you, Lavelia. It's awesome. How about Charlie? Let's throw a little love to Charlie. We don't see him, but he's always there. And Charlie, for those of you, you're looking on the names going, there's no Charlie here. It's Robert Parks. Bob, I just want to say thank you for all that you do and this wisdom that you bring out. A lot of times when people have this amazing wisdom, they always have this desire to want to let everybody know it. And you're this secret sauce that when it's the right time, you add to it just the right amount, and it always makes that sandwich a little bit better. It always makes that thought just a little bit more cool. So I want to say thanks, Bob.
Yeah, that's what I feel about him, is that Robert, he always comes in with these quiet, little tidbits that kind of blow you right out of your seat. And I've always found that very very uplifting.
I agree with you, Emily, because I that's how I feel about Robert too. He's just that quiet soul, but has so much in him. Like we have, and again, we haven't seen anything yet from him either, but it's like there's so much more to come. But he's just so wise and so loving, and to be on here with all these women and sharing and just opening up, you know what I mean? I think you're amazing, just amazing. Thank you for sharing all the time, Robert. We appreciate it.
Hey, Robert, I agree with everything that's been said, but Sean, you started it by saying it was Charlie. And the strangest thing that just came to me, because we never see you, Robert. And so, I mean, yes, we can go creep Facebook and we can do all of that, but it's kind of like, Charlie's Angels, right? There's the voice. You never see Charlie, but he's always there, and he comes through, and he's got that piece that you always need to kind of put the bow on it. So I don't know whether you just got labeled Charlie for Charlie's Angels. I'm not sure, but
yes.
Definitely.
And Sean,
you.
Sean is Bosley.
So how are you feeling? How are you listening? So this is a kind of a leadership exercise. There's a couple of things happening right now. One, those of us being recognized are like a little, oh my gosh, or feed me. And then some of us that are sitting here going, I wonder if they're going to do me. And I say that to say this: we're going to have we're going to recognize everybody on this call. My point is that there's somebody out there that sometimes we either think maybe they don't need it. I know Mason, as my son, gets a lot of recognition, but there's also a habitualization that he's used to that whenever I hug him in his ear, I always say, I'm proud of you and I love you. So one of the things that recognition is so important is that we do it as often as we can. But we have to do it in a way that we don't feel like somebody's taking from us. This is key, because I can promise you, I know when I was giving accolades to anybody we've talked about so far, it made me feel great. It reminded me, see, we can usually only recognize in others what we think's pretty freaking cool in us. See, because I can't see something in you that doesn't exist in me. If I don't have any reference to it, I can't recognize it. So it's a pretty interesting experiment to go through. So how about Emily? I think Emily, and I love seeing the smiles. It's like, no, not me. Emily has been this extraordinary businesswoman who has said, man, for what and for how long and why now? And yet she still continues to show up, and she's had this awakening in the last 60 days in her own life, and she continues to bring that and share that and bring that to us. So Emily, I just got to say thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. You're this amazing soul that has yet decades and decades of leadership yet to share with all of us.
Thank you.
No, I'm jumping in, Linda.
Sorry.
Emily, I only met you last week, and I didn't know I was going to meet you. I was going to meet Linda, and you were there. And I just want to say that in getting to know you that short little bit, what I learned about you is your determination, that you've been doing what you do where you are for so many years that you shared with me, and yet you were not afraid to start over and to attack it from a different angle and be determined to go for it. So I just want to say I recognize that in you, and I'm blessed to know you.
Thank you.
And I feel the same way. My goodness, Emily's been such a great friend. We've known each other for a long time, and she's such a blessing in my life. And she's so strong and she's so determined. And I'm so thankful to be partnering and going alongside her on this journey together. We've been apart before, but we're back together now. And it's like, it's so amazing. And it's just this journey now. I'm just so grateful to be on this journey with you, Emily. So thankful. Oh my God.
It's the
a million times fold
out from your being that makes you so easy to be around, makes you easy to love and partner with.
Hi, Emily. It's Karen.
Hey, Karen.
Yeah, the first thing I notice about you is your laugh. It always brightens me up. It's just like, I remember telling Linda, I loved your laugh. And I've got to know you more lately. It's just like, I didn't know how much business sense you had, and that I can learn from you. And I'm glad that we are friends and we're doing this business together. And even when we did that Zoom last week, it just floored me how much you knew. I didn't know that you knew that much. And then, it kind of rubs off on me. So you give me inspiration. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. Because I didn't know how much I knew until I do it.
That should be a t-shirt as well. I didn't know how much I knew till I started doing it. It's all inside of us. This desire for us to do more, be more, have more. It exists inside of us. And it's those little throwaway phrases that just seem to pass by, that just like my head inside of a cathedral bell rings going, holy crapperoni. We all don't know how much we know until we start doing it. So the key is we got to do what? Start doing it.
Amen.
It doesn't matter what it is. Prospecting, saying hello, following up, thank you cards, this, that, or the other. So I love this part of what we do together as a community. And the key is we can all do more. And somebody who I think is doing absolutely amazingly more is Karen. And so Karen, I just got to say to you from the first time that you jumped on these calls, because I've seen you on Zooms before. I've been invited on to leadership trainings, Monday night calls, or whatever it is, Zoom calls. And I've seen you there, and you're always there. You always show up. And then when we had a little conversation, to see you awaken, but you're this student that if I said, okay, I need you to go outside and chew bubble gum and blow 3 bubbles, you'd get up right now and go outside, chew bubble gum and blow 3 bubbles, because you're like, well, if that's what you're telling me to do, I'm going to go do it. So I just got to applaud you. And to see you start to have fun doing what you love to do again, I love that.
Karen has blown my mind. Like I met Karen years ago with Linda. She was a cashier at a store we were in, and Linda struck up a conversation with her. And where Karen has come from that day to today has impressed me beyond words.
Yes.
She has grown so much as a person, in her levels of confidence. She does things that I don't do right now. Like,
Yeah.
she start up a conversation with anybody.
Yes.
I don't have that talent yet. I'm trying to learn from Karen. I watch her and I think, oh my God, I'm so impressed. And she was just shy, withdrawn lady when I first met her. And now, like, wow.
I know, Karen, I think you're just amazing. And you always think you're the student, but my God, woman, you are a great teacher as well. And I know you don't even see that in you, but it's there. You're amazing. I'm so thankful to be friends with you. And I'm so glad that Emily and I met you that day quite a few years ago. And it's just been a great friendship. The same thing. We've come, we've gone out, but now we're woven back in together now. And there's a purpose, there's a reason why we're together. And we're just going to blow this thing right out of the water, whatever that thing is, but we're going to blow it up. Karen, I'm glad we're partnering together. My goodness.
I kind of woke up with kind of chest tightness in my chest this morning, so thank you. Thank you, ladies.
So here's the thing.
And Sean.
You bet. Here's the thing. Recognition is so key. And when it's done in a state of giving, as opposed to have to. I was talking with somebody the other day, and they said, well, how do you help people have to get this? Is there a difference between have to and get to? And there's an absolutely huge difference. Most people spend 50 weeks a year having to go to work, but they spend 2 weeks a year getting to go on vacation. These little switches that we change, when we start to look at recognition as a way to open up, when we give away a little bit of recognition, it opens up a space in us for us to receive it back, right? It's that old scenario. Well, I'm not going to like them till somebody likes me. Well, this isn't that little saying you see on Facebook. I ordered a chicken and an egg from Amazon. I'll tell you which one shows up first. This is about, you just have to give away some of your stuff. And sometimes it's to give away. We're giving away some of our own frustration. It's when you start to get into the state of gratitude, right? Ray Higdon in Rank Makers, they had a T-shirt that says default setting gratitude. It will literally change your business. It will people will come up to you. And I think we've all experienced this. People walk up to you and go, I don't know what you're doing, but I got to be around you. One of the things that because of my shirts and shoes and socks that I kind of like, I can, when I'm on my own, if I'm in traditional business, that doesn't always fly so well. But when I'm on doing my stuff, when I'm going to speak on stage and going to do trainings and everything that you see from my video, people like, oh my God, I love your shirt. It draws people in. People want to be that crazy. I can't tell you how many wives have said, I wish my husband would wear shirts like that, right? So this thing about recognition, sometimes we have to be a place for people to give recognition. Now that just turned this whole thing up on its head. What if you did things so well that you gave people, this world, the society, people who are always givers, you gave them a chance to give? Wouldn't that be cool? And then here's the thing, when they give to you, guess what you get to do? You don't really have to search where you're going to fill your bucket up. It's constantly coming in, and that's why you get to give it away. I think it's one of my secrets that has allowed me to be able to be in this state of outstandingness and joy more often than not. Most of the time, people say, how are you? I'm excited, and I really am, because I do my best to be a place where people can, my volume isn't overwhelming, but it's loud enough that people can come in and they can start singing along with the choir and get excited about being themselves. So sometimes we have to be a place where people can recognize, right? If we stand out, I promise you, I'm just going to make a guess here because I've never put on lipstick. But if you go put some lipstick on and you put on maybe a red lipstick or a Maggie T. Fan, right, Leslie, when she puts on that black lipstick, man, it's just totally wacko. It's like, where, how, you have to say something. So listen, when you're going to go out and you have a set of earrings that you know people always compliment you on, or a blouse or shoes or lipstick, or maybe you put on makeup that's not normally what you do, people are going to go, man, you look beautiful. So sometimes it's okay for us to stand out in life, that people can allow us to be recognized. It gives them a chance to feel better about themselves.
I hate to say this, guys, but I gotta go.
Emily, we love you.
Have a great day. Love you all.
Somebody I wanted to throw a little love towards as well, and if you've got any thoughts about it, you can add to it, but is to Kayla. Kayla has been this soul I've gotten to know here in the last few months, but I love, don't we just love when she comes on and she has she's most hysterical, funny woman I know, and she doesn't even know it. So Kayla, I love you. I love your leadership. I love your just total raw openness. Like Bob, I didn't like you. I didn't like you the other day when you told me that. But then you listened and and it's not that you're being mean, you're just being real. So I absolutely love you for everything that you are and how open you are to say that you're on this learning process.
I do too. One of the things that I've been thinking about here is that Woody Allen said 80% of success is just showing up. And my God, Kayla does. When I think about the way she struggles with English every time, I think, you know, I can't imagine myself trying to interact with the Spanish community. I mean, by the living God that made you, you're a better man than I am, Gunga Din. You know, but she just shows up and puts her shoulder to the wheel, and you know, by that, you know, we were talking here, I think, to some degree about, or flirting with the idea that in recognition, sometimes we're probably afraid of not being perfect enough, or giving ourselves permission to not be perfect. And it's funny how things show up. I ran onto a little quote yesterday by another sage on the stage who said, "Ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in." Leonard Cohen. So she's out there ringing the bell so that we can notice something that maybe we didn't notice before by interacting with her.
So true, Bob.
Hey, Kayla, the thing that I love about you the most is your authenticity. You just come and the light that shines from you is so bright and so loving and so giving. And I just think that the world needs a whole lot more of you. So thank you for allowing me to be a little part of your life. I'm blessed. I look forward to becoming more because of you. That's a cool thing.
Kayla, just thank you for being you. You are an amazing soul. And I love, just like when Sean was saying, your rawness, you're so, that vulnerability that you just let us see, and you let us see that growth and you blossoming forth. It's just a beautiful, beautiful thing to witness, a beautiful thing to be a part of. And you're just, again, you're just an amazing woman. And thank you for sharing, and thank you for touching our lives the way that you do, because it helps me to change. Just like Leslie said, it just benefits me so much too. You're just an amazing, amazing woman. And thank you. And I love the rooster too.
That was the real one.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I wasn't going to talk today.
Well, you don't have to. Just receive.
I know
my love.
I don't. I know I don't have to. I know you explained that to me. I know I don't have to, but I said I wasn't going to talk today, but I just want everybody know what you guys just done to me. I wasn't going to talk because I don't feel good today at all. And I haven't slept all night, and I guess I'm just going through things that I guess everybody goes sometimes. I don't know. I hope so. And and the whole time everybody's talking here about recognition and here go the rooster, and recognitions and throwing so much love, and I just been like the whole time just been crying, and I haven't stopped crying, and I haven't stopped crying, and I keep hearing you guys, and then I said to myself, I guess because I'm sad today, and because I feel down today, I said, well, it's nice to know what everybody done and how this and how that, because everybody talk about each other. And I said, well, I know they're not going to say anything about me because they don't know me. And because I hear they know this one for a while and the other one for years. And I said, well, they don't know me, so they're not going to say anything about me. And so I kept crying and listening. And I said, well, I'm not going to turn it off because I have to listen, right? And then Sean come up and say all those nice things. And then Leslie come. And Charlie comes and say those things too. And Linda, and it's like I stopped crying. It's like I'm sad and I still feel down, but I don't got no more tears. And it's amazing how I know you, Sean, and you always give me love, and thank you for that. But I actually don't know Leslie, Linda, and Charlie, and how their words just make me feel strong right now. It's amazing how everything that you guys says about me just made me remember how I am.
It's true, Kayla. That's who you are. That's the truth about you. what you've heard, and there's a lot more, but that's the truth about you. And there's nothing wrong with you. And there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with any one of us. You are loved, and you are an amazing woman. You're so worthy. You're worthy of this. You're worthy of these words, because that's the truth. That is who you are.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you very much for saying these things. And I know you probably, everybody here, well, I don't know, maybe most of the people here know how saying like nice things about others will make the other one feel, but I just didn't know how much that was gonna make me feel right now. And I just want everybody know the magic of saying nice things and being and recognize other people. You guys just did something amazing to me right now. I didn't expect it, and I didn't know how much that make other one feel. So now I know that I will practice that more, and not just practice. Now I know that every time I say things like that to others, even if they don't say anything, I know that probably changed their life. Because given that now I feel more comfortable with you here, I say something, but maybe some other time I wouldn't say anything. Maybe I would have felt good, but not say anything. But plus somebody want to hear the rooster too, so I turn around.
And so here's the thing, Kayla.
I love that rooster, man.
Here's the thing. Part of you, the reason that you clicked on was to make the rest of us feel good, to let us hear the roosters. At a subconscious level, that happened because you weren't ready for the love. Most people aren't ready to be loved. Most people aren't ready to get this. And when a stranger does it, meaning somebody we haven't grown up with, when a stranger does it, if they do it without authenticity, it hits us and we go, oh, they're just being sarcastic. I wonder what they want. But when it's done with authenticity and when it's done with reality, it truly gets to our hearts. So I applaud you for coming in. You wanted to make us feel good with the roosters. And then you're a strong woman. You go, well, I got to say something anyway. So now I'll thank them back. So I love you tons. I appreciate you so much. One more person I wanted to recognize before we jumped off here real quick, and that's one of my dearest friends, Elaine. And, you know, you are just this bedrock of ideas, this bedrock of joy, this mom, this grandma, this woman who has been through the ringer and back, and yet you still put the smile on, you still show up every day, you suit up, and sometimes you know you got to take the armor off and be vulnerable, and you're just this wonderful example of an amazing human being who I get to call a friend.
Oh, Sean, I so agree with you with this too. And I know I'm saying a lot this morning as well, but I'm just so grateful for Elaine too. We, like I say, here we are on this call. We live in the same city, for crying out loud, never met before. And here we connected last week. We went for coffee, and Elaine, you are an amazing woman. I am so grateful. You know, when you meet someone, you think, oh man, I've known them for a long time. That's our soul. That's our spirit that connects, right? And there's just something about her that I'm so excited about this friendship, Elaine, because you are the real deal. I saw that right from the get-go on the calls here, but meeting you face to face, you're so real and you're so loving, and you have such a giving heart. I can just see that, and you're so I shouldn't say concerned, but you always care about what other people are, if they're okay or if they're feeling good, or you're a great mom. Like, you're an amazing mom, and she's a great grandma too. And it's like, that blows me away, because she doesn't, well, what's age and what are we supposed to look like with those when we have great grandbabies, right? But my goodness, I'm so looking forward to spending more time with you, to connecting more with you, because you are you, like I say, you're the real deal. And I'm just so grateful for you. And thank you for taking the time out to come and connect with myself and Emily as well too. That was wonderful. Just thank you so much.
Well, I'm just going to say thank you, Sean. You got me all choked up. Where am I feeling it? Right here, right everywhere.
And I love that.
And I love it. You know, actually, I'm going to say I love that, and I do. I'm just so blessed. And so this has been, and I know it's wrapping up time, and I just want to say this has been an interesting morning. I do try to give recognition to everybody I meet, find something, but to receive it is hard. It is hard. It's a tough thing, and being okay to receive it. And so I'm going to receive all this morning and go about my day. And I just want to say that I love you guys. I appreciate you. The rooster makes my day. Please don't stay off. Please come off mute every once in a while, Kayla, because you live in places that I dream to be. So you speak to my mind every time I hear that rooster. So I just love you guys. Thanks.
So there you go, folks. Recognition. One of the things that I look to do as a teacher, as a mentor, as a trainer, is to always begin to implement, right? Not, well, next week I'll do that. And so this was just something that I've worked on for years. And I'm glad that we got to do it with each other, experience it, because just like Kayla said, we didn't know where she was at, but sometimes just our love can make a difference for people. And, you know, if you watch people when we were doing the recognition, and again, this is a leadership part as we wrap up, but the leadership part was, it makes people uncomfortable. They're not used to that. If you watch the video, you can watch them start to fidget in their chair. And it's like, because they don't know what to do with that joy that's coming to them. But again, they do have a receiving muscle. And we need to help flex that. We need to help them work out their receiving muscle. And that's what we get to do in recognition. We get to be the greatest givers of all when we find something special about somebody. I love each and every one of you. We're going to do this. We're going to kind of do a little recognition on every call. It won't be the whole second half of the call like this was. But I think it's important that if you guys have a conversation between each other and you connect with each other, and you find something out special about each other, and maybe even if it's friends you've known each other for a long time, let's make that part of this conversation about how it made a difference, because this, I think, is a foundational cornerstone, keystone inside of every building of success is recognition. So I just want you to know I recognize you all for taking your time to show up on this crazy call. Get out of your effing way. And so we're going to have more fun, more freedom. And I just appreciate you all. Love you tons. And I'll see you where? At the next event. Till then, bye for now, everybody. Woo!